What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is DFree, and here today we're going to go ahead and talk about the Frieza and Goku units that are coming out on the banner. They should be live for you guys now in the game. If not, they will be soon. That being said, we're going to talk about these units because I have noticed a lot of people, since the WoW factor has worn off, they're kind of like, yeah, these guys aren't that good or things of that nature. So I do want to go ahead and give you guys my opinions and try to, help you guys understand why the units are the way they are and how good they actually are. I will be doing some sort of ranking as well in relation to other units in the game and other modes these units are meant to be used in as well. So anyways, hope you all enjoy. Hit that subscribe if you are new for more content. Like goal for today is 1,000 likes. If you guys want to help me hit that, I appreciate it for the 250 million download celebration hype. That being said, let's go ahead and jump in. So Frieza and Goku are the two new units here. They go through transformation forms and ultimately are very, very solid units, I would say. I think that one thing I want to point out really quickly in the very, very beginning of the video so people understand where this video is going to trend towards is when you look at the Fierce Battle units that have come out recently, the Dokkan Festival exclusive ones to be more specific, they are units that are able to do multiple things. We are no longer, we have not been, honestly, like pretty much all of 2018, have not been in this meta anymore where it's literally every new unit hits insanely harder than the old. They're all pretty average at this point. They all hit about as hard as the next and things of that nature, but they're also able to do different varying things such as key support, such as defense, in different types of ways and things of that nature. So we are in this meta now where the main units that we use, that we see, that we would summon for, barring LRs, but this kind of applies to them too, they're all well-rounded. That's the right word, well-rounded. So these units are meant to be used on things that are harder than just regular Dokkan events. Now, of course, they're there for Dokkan events too. I'm not going to say you can't use the units there, but these units are made with other modes in mind, like Extreme Z Battle, like Extreme, well, not Extreme Z Battle, but kind of, but not really, because that's tight. That's team restricted. But things like Super Battle Road and Dokkan Battlefield. So those other modes that are a little bit harder in the game, that's where these units are made, and they're made to shine in. So when you look at that, right, and you look at some of these units and their crazy restrictions, because we're going to talk about this unit's restriction and Frieza's restriction as well, transform upon entering the next attacking turn. That is very, very, very specific, and it's very easy to understand. So ultimately what happens is you spend your first turn with this Goku that you see him. He is Super Saiyan 1. He will not transform. You are forced to use him for at least one turn. And then from there, every single other time you see him, he will transform. And he goes through these phases. But if you think about it, he won't transform to Super Saiyan 2 until turn 3. And then he'll go to Super Saiyan 3 turn 5. And about turn 5 through turn, 7 right here, and then 9, ultimately, you probably won't really get to turn 9 in a lot of scenarios. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing where it's like, oh, well, free-to-play players or certain teams will have an easier time getting. Sure, that's fine. That's obvious, right? But I wanted to factor it in for all of the average units in the game, like all the units in the game, right? If you have a good team, regardless, you probably won't really get beyond SSG, like for this unit, and then, of course, Final Form Frieza for the Frieza unit. So I think a lot of people are realizing that they'll spend most of their time in either Super Saiyan 3 and or SSG. So when it comes to these two units, you see that they're changing, right? They change repeatedly throughout their transformations. Their attack goes up, the defense goes down, but don't worry, because even though the defensive number is going down, throughout this point, each time they launched a super, their defense was raising, and that should sustain through these transformations regardless, unless the fact that they're changing into a whole new unit is a restriction that they have, and it's hampering them, and that will not sustain otherwise. But at the very least, they're still getting a 20% boost per launching a super. That is listed right here. It's a 20% boost, and that unit still has a nice amount of defense regardless. And then that coupled with, for him, the Goku here, the defense, damage received is really nice as well. So I think a lot of people are realizing they're going to spend a lot of time here, and then they're looking at it like, oh, okay, well, these units aren't even like great. They're not that great because you can't really a lot of time get to SS Blue or Golden Frieza. But if by chance you do, they're meant to be the ultimate finisher. They get max key, 12 key overflow there. Then they get the critical hit guarantee, one hit only, and you're good to go, right? That should finish it off. Now, if I were to rank these units using a alphabetical scale or things like that, I would say that, with S plus being the highest, and then we have S and S minus and A plus, I would say that these units, in my opinion, are A plus, but that's fair because to me, I feel like among all the units in the game, A plus is good because most of the Dokkan Festival exclusives are, in my opinion, A plus to S minus, depending on the teams that they can be on. So that's pretty much where I would rank them, and that pretty much means that they're about average units in the game. So they're really, really good, and I think that they are units that you should definitely consider summoning for, especially if you need a hero-villain lead as far as that is concerned. Now, if I was ranking them based on just being, and that was the A+ was just, you know, Dokkan events and, you know, general stuff. If I was ranking them on something like Super Battle Road, I think that they kind of rank a little bit differently because Frieza, in my opinion, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to like him not having the defense at all. Like, he has no defense whatsoever. All he does is heal. Healing is good. Healing is amazing in Super Battle Road, but if you can't take a hit, you just can't take a hit. So I feel like Goku's a little bit better. Of course, that's not the right gauge there because we need to look at this one because when they get to the final form, they change entirely. But that being said, he has 20% defense. I don't know how I'm going to like that. So I think that Frieza would remain A+, maybe S-, but I think Goku is a solid S among a maximum of S+ if we were to rank it off of something like Super Battle Road, just because he still sustains defense and actually has a damage mitigation. So that's amazing. That couple is amazing. And that being said, that's where I would rank these units. So pretty much to me, they're not, I think for the 250, a lot of people expected these units to be insanely game-breaking, but if you've been paying attention to the game, right? If you have been paying attention to the game, you know for a fact that the units are not like that anymore. They have not been doing that for months. Now, there are some units that kind of break that mold a little bit, particularly the LRs. Like, the LR is going to be really, 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 really good and very, very, very damaging, but it's also just kind of following the same trend as well, being good at defense and offense. It also debuffs and things like that. So the LR, Goku, and Frieza unit that is coming in Part 2 will be really good as well. So please, let's not look at these units like they're like savants. They're not that great. They're not. They are average units based on where the game is currently among units like Future Gohan, 17, you know, all these units that we've had recently. So that's where I'm going to put them. I don't think that they're worse than a unit like STR Ultimate Gohan, who's you know, one of the earlier units of this type of meta and things like that kind of does a couple of different things, but I think that they're among the higher, more recent Dokkan Festival units, among like the units like the Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta and the Jirins and all that stuff. So that's where I think these guys are. Feel free to join in the comments down below with your opinions. Let's not look at them like savants, but let's not look at them like they're bad, because they're not. The only thing bad about them is the previous forms using pretty much the same super attacks, but they'll change the perspective. Like, they change the perspective to where you look at it from the backside on this guy's attack and on this guy's attack. It's kind of weird to me. It feels weird, but it's fine. And of course, same goes for the Frieza units. Now, before we get out of here, I did want to go ahead and go over a brief translation error that we had with the Frieza and the Goku. So if you guys saw my initial videos, you saw that, you know, Frieza was initially, which we'll talk about him in a moment, he was able to get 100% attack when he gets hit. That's all it said in the initial translations, and that just means he's good. So he's going to immediately get that raise, whereas Goku was like, oh, each time he launches an attack, he gets 20% more attack, up to a maximum of a 120, and that wasn't the way that it was supposed to be. Apparently, he gets an additional 20% attack each time he receives an attack. So realistically, honestly, turn 1, you can almost have this done, pretty much. But turn 2, you should definitely have it done. If not, at the latest turn 3 that you say this Goku, he should be maxed out on attack at 120 plus additional. So he'd be at 200% attack overall and the 80% defense. This guy is insane. That is insane because, again, depending on how much the opponent loads up on a spot, he's amazing. And he's going to be very damaging at 100%. Like, he is going to be really, really good. So stay tuned for that. But, guys, you got to make sure that, you know, we're aware of that, because the translation error that we had, the translation is now correct here for Frieza as well. Prior to recording, it wasn't, but this is my third take, and then somewhere in there it actually got fixed. But initially it said, again, like I said, when Frieza gets an attack, he gets the 100% attack increase, which is still the same, but there's an extra line in there within the same turn. So plus an additional 100% within the same turn after receiving an attack. So they put that in there to pretty much not confuse anybody with a couple of things, meaning that no, he won't get it every single turn. Secondly, it means that it resets every turn. So he has to get hit every single time before he launches an attack. So ultimately, on the onset, him and Goku are going to be pretty average. But I have a feeling that Goku's just, since he's more consistent as the event goes on, he doesn't need to be in as many favorable positions anymore. Frieza might need to get hit. You know, you can't put Frieza in the first slot and hope that, you know, he'll hit hard if they're not attacking in the very beginning. Like, he might need to be a receiving of, you know, in a certain spot. Like, you have to be a little bit more finicky with Frieza than you do Goku as the event goes on. So ultimately, I think they're both really, really good. I think Goku is better now. Initially, my opinion was actually the other way around. I thought Frieza was better because Goku seemed like he was too slow, too inconsistent, because he needed to launch attacks, and that was like going to lead me to mainly give him additionals. Now I'll probably mainly give him crits with a nice blend of additionals just to get the attack raise here, sometimes for the double raise for the one-turn boost. So that is it. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like I said, they are amazing units. They are not the best units in the game, but that is fine by me. I do not want that meta back where every new unit is the best unit in the game for a couple of weeks, and they just continue to pile on top of each other. This is fine for me. Hopefully you guys agree. Have an awesome day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy, and peace out.